Heat checker.
Cunningham.
Get her the ball. Get her the ball. One more time. Cross. A logo again.
Oh, no.
She's back.
Oh my God!
Dynamic
This isn't real.
player in the game.
What?
9 points in 38 seconds for Caitlin. She hit all 3 threes. And not only 9 and 30, but look at the depth on these field goal attempts. She's certainly feeling it. Right side. Right side. Now come back to your favorite spot again. It doesn't matter if there's a hand.
What am I watching?
The defending champions were on a flawless run, undefeated and seemingly untouchable. No one had managed to solve their puzzle. The New York Liberty looked invincible, steamrolling opponents like they didn't even exist. But everything changed on June 14th when Caitlin Clark returned from injury. What followed wasn't just another win. It was a complete dismantling that shattered 8 records in a single night. The Liberty's perfect season? Gone. Their confidence? Crushed. But the most unexpected twist was how the Fever transformed this moment into a masterclass in championship basketball. If you're fired up about Caitlin's comeback, drop a CC record breaker in the comments. Let's go.
Caitlin pulls left wing, the right wing, 30-plus feet. Logo crosses over. Watch it. Oh my goodness! She is back.
Back in the lineup. I'm ready to go.
I think you're just excited more than anything. You know, it gets kind of difficult when you prepare for a game. Obviously, when I'm on the bench, still knowing the scout, knowing everything that the other team's going to do, and still trying to mentally prepare and go through everything like I'm going to play, even though I knew I wasn't going to play. So, you know, doing that, but also knowing I was going to be able to be active today, I think gives you a little extra juice. So I'm certainly excited just to get back out there, get playing, and really good opportunity for us at home here, coming off of a loss. So it's a big game.
Picture this. The defending champions tearing through every opponent like they're scrimmaging high school teams. The New York Liberty entered June with a flawless 9-0 record, the last undefeated squad in the WNBA. Each game they played wasn't just a win, it was a warning. Their dominance was growing, and their message was clear. No one could touch them. They weren't just beating teams, they were dismantling them with a smothering defense that felt impossible to break. Opponents would step onto the court full of belief, but 2 hours later, they'd walk off stunned, deflated, and defeated. The Liberty's defense was like a rising brick wall, tougher, stronger, and higher with every game.
You played the Liberty. There was obviously a frustrating ending. What lessons can you take from that experience, and how can that be applied to this, even though I know obviously Liberty look a little different with 2 starters out?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly you take time and score situations, you know, different versions of handling runs, offensively, defensively. Margin for error is small against a team like New York, and you know, every play matters. You know, every time we send them to the free throw line matters. Every rebound matters. You know, we can't afford to have empty possessions on the offensive end of the floor. You know, you've got to play your A game.
Every team that stepped up to face them came in full of belief and left completely crushed. Coaches poured hours into designing game plans. Players studied endless film trying to find a weakness, but nothing worked. The Liberty had a counter for everything. Their pick-and-roll execution was surgical. Their defense was suffocating, and their swagger was unshakable. Sabrina Ionescu, Jonquel Jones, and Brianna Stewart weren't just playing well, they were putting on a clinic. These 3 stars were so dominant, they made fellow All-Stars look average. Stewart could score from anywhere. Ionescu was sinking outrageous shots and threading passes most players wouldn't even try. And Jones owned the paint, making elite centers look completely outmatched.
So I think we continue to learn lessons from the first time we played them and from our last game against Atlanta. You know, every single day that we move forward. You know, I think they're a different team. Certainly, we're going to be a different team having C and Sophie back on the floor. And you know, we're going to tip the ball up and go out, and we're going to give it everything that we have.
The numbers said it all. The Liberty weren't just winning, they were blowing teams out and making star players look average. Their margin of victory wasn't just dominant, it was downright intimidating. Top-ranked teams would walk in with momentum and walk out with 20-point losses. Even the WNBA's elite looked like they were playing an entirely different game when matched against New York. Analysts began questioning whether anyone could realistically compete with them this season. Sports shows debated how far their streak might go, and writers were already drafting legacy pieces. The conversation had shifted. It wasn't about who would beat them, but if beating them was even possible.
Welcome to ESPN's coverage of the WNBA. The defending champion and unbeaten New York Liberty coming to town for the second time this year as we get ready for this game. And yes, she is back. Caitlin Clark will indeed be playing today. Missed the last 5 games with a strained quad, taking on the Liberty off to their best start ever. Sabrina Ionescu and company in this big Commissioner's Cup game as well. And as usual, all the seats are filled here.
Then came the Fever's chance, but they needed something extraordinary. Indiana was dealing with injuries and rotating lineups, and they hadn't exactly looked like contenders. Most expected the Liberty to cruise to another easy win, but there was one thing New York didn't see coming: the return of Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, we have an opportunity in front of us right now. I feel like this is like we're starting a new season. You guys, I'm so proud of how resilient we've been up until this point. We're going to continue to have to be. But right now, we have an opportunity to continue to take a step forward. Okay, this can be a springboard for us, right? We're marrying energy and effort with execution. Every single possession matters. Hit singles. Hit singles. Make the easy play. All right? Make one another better. Okay? It's our time. It's our time. Let's go. Here we go. Together on 3, 1, 2, 3. Together.
Early time I should see. You can talk about that. Let's talk about the moment everything shifted. 38 seconds that rewrote WNBA history. When Caitlin Clark stepped onto the court at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the atmosphere instantly changed. You could feel the energy, the anticipation. She wasn't just returning from a quad injury, she was back with a purpose, ready to deliver a statement that would ripple through the entire league.
And Cunningham is down behind the play, but they've got Caitlin Clark to fire away from 2 players with incredible up. Ball from Cunningham. Clark, another long 3. She's back.
The Liberty defense thought they were ready. They'd studied every detail of her game, her tendencies, her range, her rhythm. They knew Clark would come out firing, and had watched endless film of her draining deep threes. They believed they were prepared. They weren't even close. Then Clark did the unthinkable. 3 straight three-pointers from distances that left defenders frozen. The first came from 34 feet out.
Players wouldn't even consider. Clark pulled up like it was a free throw. Swish. The second, from 31 feet, same result. The third, again, from 31 feet. By then, the Liberty defenders weren't contesting. They were just watching in disbelief.
Rebound, Fever. Cunningham got knocked to the floor. Caitlin pulls left wing, buries it. She is back. 24-18, Fever down. Caitlin now from the right wing, 30-plus feet. Good again. No one else but Caitlin Clark. Sedatis handoff. Caitlin from the logo, crosses over, launches. Oh my goodness! Are you kidding?
Most dynamic player in the game. 9 points in 38 seconds for Caitlin. She hit all 3 threes. And not only 9 in 30, but look at the depth on these field goal attempts. She's certainly feeling it.
The crowd at Gainbridge Fieldhouse erupted with each shot as the ball swished clean through the net. Fans were leaping out of their seats. The noise was deafening, and the energy in the building kept rising with every make. The arena felt like it was shaking. 9 points in just 38 seconds. This wasn't just fast scoring. It was redefining what's possible in professional basketball. Think about that. Most players would be thrilled to score 9 points in an entire quarter. Clark did it in under a minute, and in doing so, she became the first player in WNBA history to accomplish this exact feat.
And Cunningham is
Caitlin
down
from the
behind
logo.
play.
Oh my God!
But they got Caitlin Clark to fire away from 3. And Cunningham just now getting up as she stayed down near the free throw line on the other end.
Oh! Okay, why did he take that?
An ankle
Oh
injury
my
and then
God,
Johannes
and of course
Berry.
Marine Johannes
2
countered
players
it. Not
out
for the logo, but this is why I
Caitlin
love
from
the
the logo
NBA.
again! We got a shootout! We got a shootout!
Oh my God! No!
Even Brianna Stewart couldn't help but crack a smile, because what she was witnessing was pure basketball brilliance. Stewart,
one of the greatest players on the planet, has seen it all on the court. But even she had to respect the display Caitlin Clark was putting on. This wasn't just a hot streak, it was basketball performed at its absolute highest level. The Liberty called a timeout, but by then, it was already too late. Clark had shattered their mental edge. You could see it in their posture, in the way they moved. The confidence built over 9 straight wins was starting to unravel. They had expected another routine victory, but instead, they were watching Caitlin Clark make history. This wasn't luck, and it wasn't just a hot streak. This was a superstar announcing her return in the most dominant way possible. The Liberty had jumped out to an 11-point lead in the first quarter. After Clark's 38-second explosion, the game was tied at 24. Ate patane, she had single-handedly erased their entire lead and flipped the momentum. And here's the most incredible part. Clark didn't just have a big game. She rewrote the record books. By halftime, she had already scored 25 points, the most she had ever scored in a single half. This wasn't just a strong performance. It was a clear message. Her 5-game absence due to a quad injury was over.
To get it inside to Mitchell. Those two have such a great connection.
Rebound, battled for, Clark comes away with it. Caitlin, outlet to Aaliyah, in stride, right post, and she fakes it in. It's a dime from CC to AB. And that does it for a scintillating first 20 minutes at Cambridge Fieldhouse. It's the Fever 53 and the Liberty 50.
But the records were just beginning to fall, and each quarter brought a new milestone. Clark knocked down 7 3-pointers during the game, a career high that left the Liberty defenders in a constant state of confusion. Every time they thought they had her figured out, she'd step back from another absurd distance and drain yet another shot. The Liberty coaching staff kept burning timeouts, desperately trying to slow her down, but nothing worked. Clark was in complete control, and there was no stopping her.
I don't know if you guys have seen or heard, but Caitlin Clark is in fact back. Caitlin Clark!
Then steps back with the 3 over Brianna Stewart.
Then came the moment that elevated her above WNBA legend Candace Parker. Clark finished the game with 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists, marking her 3rd career performance with at least 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Parker, a 2-time MVP and 7-time All-Star, only had 2 such games in her first 2 seasons. With this showing, Clark officially surpassed one of the game's all-time greats. She also became the 4th fastest player in WNBA history to reach 850 career points, accomplishing it in just 45 games. For comparison, Cynthia Cooper-Dyke did it in 38, and Simone Augustus in 39. That's the kind of elite company Clark now finds herself in, the absolute top tier of scorers in WNBA history.